Company.
Yes, another great episode. I say that every week, I think, but they're great episodes here of Bell and Company. I am, of course, the host of that show, this one that we're doing right now, and we're actually live on Facebook and YouTube today. I am Mario J. Bell. That's Libby over there, who you hear on the voice announcing. Hey, Libby.
Hi. I like to say something before we start here.
Oh, hold on one second. Let me get everybody introduced. We got Joe Brunker right there.
You just don't want to hear me.
I will hear you. So we got Joe Brunker, who's also streaming on his Facebook. So
hello.
It's Joe Brunker Facebook. How well do you tell people to go there, right?
Yeah, whatever.
How do we spell your name?
Joe, and then Drunker with a B instead of a D.
There we go. I like that explanation. And then we have our special guest for the show, who actually, now this one is an actual blood related
third cousin. Yeah,
cousins. Yeah, we have your cousin on the show today. Hello, welcome, cousin.
Yeah,
go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Brett DeJoseph. It's good to be here.
Hey, Brett.
And thanks for having me. I'm also a radio personality in the area in the radio shopping show.
Yeah. I didn't even know the thing was still going, but it's kind of cool that it is, because I used to buy stuff there all the time.
Oh, all the time, yeah.
And in Las Vegas, I worked for the old owners. I worked in Las Vegas, but we still didn't get free stuff. We got stuff at a discount.
Right.
We didn't get it for free, but I loved it.
Oh, yeah. I always appreciate my pizza vouchers, my haircuts, my oil changes.
There you go.
And there you go. Yeah, it's stuff you're going to use.
So they're still going out in Aurora, Illinois, right?
Yes.
WBIG?
Yes.
See, I know, because like I said, the old owner. But anyway, so we're going to get into talking all about your stuff. But Libby, you had a couple things you wanted to bring up. I know I'll let you talk for once.
What does that saying go? Denial is not just a river in Egypt.
What is that? Okay, way to start the show. You waited to say that, huh?
Yes. And I think you know what it means.
You're referring to, let me guess, something happening in national politics, right?
Yeah, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But you get it.
Wait, there's stuff going on. What?
There's
She's
stuff
talking what's
about,
happening?
Off the air, we were talking about
he's in denial.
President Trump and what's going on with the immigrants and the DEI programs and all that stuff. He did a whole bunch of executive orders.
Yeah.
And Libby's not too thrilled.
It's an undo fest right now.
See, there you go. Yeah. A lot of people are. I want to see how this all plays out, because now judges are getting involved. So, but it's some
my American-born friend.
Stuff.
Like, she's Mexican. She got asked and interrogated by a person at a store the other day.
No kidding.
About if she's a citizen or not.
What do you mean a person? Like the manager of the store?
Just a random associated
a random
store?
person came up to
That's
her and
pretty
started
evil.
Interrogating her.
I guess there's a lot of bad that's going on with the good. I mean,
I don't think there's much good. I think it's
agree.
disgusting.
We're supposed to be getting rid of people that are in the jails that are illegal immigrants, and they're like in the CM13 or MS13.
Yeah.
Whatever.
MS-13.
Is it MS13?
It is, yeah. I've seen enough
like
A&E
program.
specials. Yes,
like a program for a computer.
But there's an old sign I remember in my library in elementary school: "Attitudes are contagious. Is yours worth catching?"
Oh, ooh.
And I think a lot of that attitude and sentiments are being caught by people right now.
I feel like there's a lot more. I mean, the same thing happened the first time President Trump was there, right? When he was 45. Now he's 47. But anyway, so that's all going on. But I've got to bring
He
up.
wishes he was 47. He's an old coot who poops in his diaper.
Libby's really.
No, he was talking about number 47.
I know.
You know what? She usually bites her tongue. That's what it is, and has that mask on. So we kind of hold her back. But today she wanted to get her piece in. But anyway, what I wanted to bring up is, and trust me, we're going to interview.
Oh, by all means.
We got a whole hour.
I'm having a great time. No.
But Saturday Night Live, and then I wanted everybody to be inclusive. Sometimes I just start talking about a topic and then I don't even introduce the guest. So I want to make sure everybody's involved in the conversation. We know who you are.
Right.
So we just call you. You got a long name. You got a long name as me. That's why I just went with Bell.
I'm just Brett.
Just go by Brett. That works.
I'm Libby Tartar.
And that's Libby. But anyway,
Steve Carlisle.
All right. Okay.
Also known as Joe.
Yeah.
Anyway, did anybody in the audience? I'm sure people in the audience saw the Saturday Night Live episode from last night.
I saw the most recent Dave Chappelle one. I did not see last night's.
Last night. Well, Dave Chappelle.
Wait,
Chappelle
was
2 weeks ago.
That was 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
I
didn't see them yesterday though.
Well, I'll just fill everybody in because I find it, and it relates to this show. Like 4 different times during the hour and a half long episode, the guest host who happened to be the Bob Dylan, the actor in the Bob Dylan movie.
Chalamet?
Timothée Chalamet. I want to say it right.
Timothy Chalamet?
No, it's not Timothy. He always corrects people.
Timothée Chalamet.
It's Timothée Chalamet, whatever you just said.
Timothée Chalamet.
There you go.
He's a really great actor.
He really is.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Yeah.
And he was
he
good.
killed it as the great unknown.
He was good as Bob Dylan. He was
And
good on Saturday Night Live.
He was only Wonka as well.
He was also Willy Wonka. Yes, he was. But anyway, so on Saturday Night Live last night, he was also the musical guest because he did play Bob Dylan. So they decided, hey, we'll have you sing too. And surprisingly, it was pretty good. I was surprised.
No, I mean, when you spend time emulating a character for months, you tend to
I guess you
draw
pick
around to
up-
them. Kind of
Yeah.
like Bradley Cooper.
You would know
how
you're
he
an
learned to sing.
actor.
Val Kilmer had to go therapy.
Well, that's
After
called
the Doors.
That's
like a
called
year.
method acting.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
really going deep.
Yeah.
But even he's
That's
just a natural.
I love method acting personally. It just depends on what level of method acting you're going.
I know,
Are
if
you
you're-
method acting on the show too?
What? No.
What he said.
I'm
Yeah.
method acting as a radio person.
Christian Bale came all that way.
But anyway, so I don't want to get too far off. On the show, they mentioned, and again, he was the guest host and the singer for the episode, but they brought up podcasting about a half dozen times in 3 different skits, including a T-Mobile commercial that's a cross promotion with Saturday Night Live. They had, I mean, right there, colleague in the business, Joe Rogan. I mean, it was plain as day. They didn't have the name on there, but you could see him talking.
Yeah.
You see the background. You see the background saying Joe something, right? So that was on. Then they actually did a segment where to help the kids learn in school, they're going to do a podcast, an AI podcast.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the
Sounds
third one-
horrible.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
this
if you see the bit, you'll go, wow, that was odd, because they're like, the teacher gets them to say certain things. And then in one scene, you see Timothée holds up his hand.
Timothée.
He's got like 6 fingers because of something they're talking about. And he has to have separate to count or whatever. It's kind of silly. But then a third time was when they did a segment where they had the mother and the son liked each other, and it was a type of product that they were selling, an edible ornament or something. That was actually hilarious in and of itself. But they mentioned podcasts again. I'm like, man, we must be on to something here. This must be the thing, because
It's a new
even
medium.
SNL.
It's the medium that people are wanting to hear.
People are kind of driving towards it lately, especially since TV's kind of become like even all the streaming sites, all of the quality has gone down dramatically.
Oh, of course.
Everybody
Like,
wants to
and
see it on demand. I guess they don't care about the live
And
streaming.
this is how people spend their time now. Years ago, I can remember people would go to this thing called the movie theater on a Friday night.
The thing called.
And
I
you would
still go.
see-
I go
I
to
love
matinees
movies.
every
I
weekend.
know, but it's not the social. You see everybody and you run into people, and then
Right.
let's go to Chili's afterwards. And
Yeah, every time I go, I'm usually like, there's only me and like 2 other people.
right,
I go at
right.
night, but still.
Chili's, the loaded.
I don't even
nachos.
want to go to the movies with you because you talk during the
She thinks I
movie.
talk too much. Livy says I do, but
What
whatever.
did they say? What did
But-
the plot is? What did I miss?
But
Ah.
apparently, this is the thing now. I mean, and I got to give the owners, Wanda or Earl and Wanda, excuse me, credit, or Wanda and Earl, if you want to be polite and proper. Women go first, right?
Women first.
Yes.
But anyway, they've been doing this in some sort of, version of podcasting for like almost 16 years now. So
Oh,
they
yeah,
they
and I
had it
mean-
right when everybody was still talking about, oh, you got to be on a commercial broadcast station, and Jam Productions in Chicago won't work with you if you're not on radio and all that stuff. I think
Yeah.
that's all changing
I think
fast.
People got tired of being told no, and they were like, we want to hear some viewpoints. We want to hear some voices. We don't want just a compounded hour of advertising and just plugs so much. You want to hear some.
That's because most of it went online. Like,
Yeah,
everything.
I think so.
Influencers are more popular than a lot of movie actors.
Yeah,
these
well, that's
days.
what's
Yes,
weird about.
yes.
I mean, people went to. I mean, I don't know about you, and we're gonna get to you. I promise, we're gonna get to you, Brett. But I went to school for 4 years, and then a trade school, and then obviously worked in the business. And if you didn't have some kind of background, you weren't interning, you didn't get to do this. Now it's like everybody who has a phone can basically do a show.
Right,
It's kind of
right.
crazy.
That also leaves room for a lot of stupid stuff to come out online.
There's definitely a lot of different opinions on things. I mean, you've got Libby's view, and then you got like 20 other views on the same topic. It's kind of weird how everybody could have their own little view on things.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of life. And if we could all learn to acknowledge each other's viewpoint and not shred each other apart, that would be great.
Well, I'm guilty of that.
Well, they can't do that much anymore. I mean, there used to be a thing called the village idiot. no one believed what the village idiot said because he was the village idiot. He was a moron.
Like I always said that, like the town crier, but a lot of people didn't
Like
him
Libby
either.
Tarders.
Libby Tarders. She's just got to get her. Will you stop it? You're getting screen time today, or she likes the Facebook Live thing or something. I don't know. But anyway,
You told me to talk.
we've always been on YouTube Live. Anyway, it's just interesting how the business has changed, and this does relate to you being on the show. It's not as formal, it seems like, anymore, but people really do like hearing more than just that 10-minute segment. I think that's what you're referring to either. More structured, a lot of stops for advertising, obviously.
Of course.
You know,
This has been brought to you by McDonald's.
Yeah, I was going to say,
I'm
last
just
week
kidding.
we had a lot of
And
fun
dude
last
wipes.
week. We'll do more of that. But yeah, it's different.
Don't
on
forget
podcast.
dude wipes.
Yes.
But it is different because you do more talking, you're more in-depth conversation than you would have on a radio show.
Yeah, and then they would have things years ago like point and counterpoint on TV, and it would be something a small or hardball or shows
but
like
it wouldn't
that.
be
That was a great
full-
movie.
Yeah.
No, I'm
You'd
just
have
kidding.
I mean, they had Hannity and Combs, so the one guy died. Well, they broke up first,
Yeah,
but
right.
I mean, that was a big show on Fox News or Fox, whatever channel, whatever it's called now. That's another thing. All the channels are like changing their names and where you can find them now. Everything's pretty much an app. It's crazy. But
Yeah,
anyway,
my parents lost their cable because they stopped servicing that area. And it's
No
just like-
kidding.
yeah, so
Huh.
now they're all on streaming apps now. Like,
they give them internet, or they don't even give them internet.
Yeah, well, they still have internet. It's just more of like they lost all.
Who was
the-
that? Not
Coverage was dropped.
Comcast.
It was MetroNet.
Oh yeah, they're a
Oh,
smaller
okay.
company
Yeah.
anyway. They're regional.
They were with Comcast. I don't know what happened.
Well, they ask you for an app everywhere now. You go to McDonald's. Are you using the app today? I'm like,
I
I just
know.
want my hamburger, man.
But yeah, okay, so I guess we'll just get into what you're
Yeah.
doing. I mean, you still are at a radio station when you're
correct.
working for them at what
Yeah.
is it? Fox Sports. You were saying?
WBIG, Fox Sports Radio, 1280 AM, Aurora.
Okay, a
And
local station. How about that?
yes, local station. Yes.
But he is obviously doing a national format. He's got the Fox Sports.
Oh
guys in
yes,
there.
of course. A wonderful, and it's a lot of good Chicago sports. Dan Patrick, all good coverage, and you know,
He's got a podcast too now.
Yeah.
he doesn't just do radio now; he's doing podcasts.
everyone's double dipping.
I
Yeah,
know.
and it'll be another
Different streams of revenue.
I guess.
Yes.
I have enough to do 2 hours here, but whatever.
Well, you stop and think that people like to spend their time and hear, other viewpoints now, and everyone has an access to everyone's viewpoint. And, years ago, I mean, like when it was early days, there's like 2 shows you could listen to on the radio, and one was the shock jock one, and one was the sissy one.
True.
So
true.
it was-
the sissy one. I
so-
like that.
So there was,
Well, you never heard anybody say that. Well, that's that sissy show. That-
yeah. Well,
I would call Stern that now, but we don't need to go into that
No,
whole
no.
thing. But we won't. We won't go into that.
What about
He-
Man Cow?
He's still on. Man Cow's not even
Yeah,
on anything.
no,
He's doing
no.
YouTube video. He's
Yes, he
doing
is.
like podcasting, but on YouTube. But anyway, that's actually Stern though is still on a radio channel. I mean, it is.
Yeah, he's on
Satellite,
XM, right?
XM,
Yeah,
yeah.
but you still have to tune in, and
Yes,
there's a
you do.
format to
Yes.
it. Versus like a podcast where you just kind of do what you feel like, and you have a guest on and
It's
talk about
behind a
whatever.
paywall.
Right.
I think it's because Stern sees his worth, and like he's gotten to the point where he has that value where people will pay just to listen to his station.
But he
know,
does
and
it more
that's-
of like a podcast formula now.
He's
Yeah,
created
long
a brand.
interviews.
They've all created a brand.
Exactly.
And at one
So
time it
it's
was just
like-
Opie and Anthony, and then
Mhm.
Kumia got his own network, and then
Yeah.
Stern got his
Yeah.
own network, and then
It's
everything.
once they get that, it's hard to let it go.
Oh, of course.
What did you just? Oh, the paywall. Libby brought up that a lot of it you got to pay for with
Yeah.
Sirius though. XM.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
there's a double-edged sword there. You get
Yeah.
the
It is.
content and you get the breadth and the depth, but you got to pay.
But we don't do that with your station. It's still free over the air, right?
Oh,
it is
yes,
still
of
on
course.
a transmitter, is it not?
Well, yes, and we're actually going to be, switching that format where the old tower, and since 1981, that lot will be that tower will be gone.
Aren't
Oh,
you
yeah.
moving to Naperville?
We actually have a new office in South Naperville. New
Naperville.
station. Yes,
That's what I
correct.
thought.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
correct.
Yeah, it used to be the antenna or the transmitter tower was out in the back, and then the building was right in front,
Mhm.
an old building from like the
Yes,
50s or something.
yes, and there was over 3,700 records upstairs, vinyl records that
No
were
kidding.
just left there.
Oh wow.
And
Well, it
they-
used to be a music station.
it used
How
to
many
be a
you
music
have?
station. To be honest, a majority of them because they were because of stuff over the years, the mold and stuff in the air.
Oh
They
Mm.
depreciate and they'd be thrown out. It was a shame. So
wow.
But
I
they
bet
had-
there's a lot of good stuff.
there was a lot of really cool, just like, oh wow, but the corners are all bent and this is all beat up.
Speaking of Bob Dylan, there's probably a lot of Bob Dylan
Yes,
records there.
yeah, a lot of from Alpha, from ABBA to Frank Zappa. They had everything alphabetized. So
I really like. I met his kids.
Mamma Mia.
Oh, yeah. yeah, Mamma Mia.
So that's gone.
Pierce Brosnan.
What you're saying is that's all that building gone? And the
Yes,
transmitter
yes,
tower?
it's going to be. Well, it's already been sold, but it's going to be leveled eventually because there's whatchamacallit, townhomes next door.
How do they
and
broadcast?
they're going to annex that.
How do they broadcast on a transmitter tower then? Where do they do it?
It's in South Naperville off of Wolf Cross.
So there's still a tower.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Okay.
you guys like transmit from Wonk?
Um,
Do you guys transmit out of the same tower at all, or no? Like from separate stations? Or no.
Wait, what were you saying? Is that a station?
No, not WONC.
Yeah, that's what I was talking. I was
no.
wondering since like
You
if
just
there's a
called
name.
it Wonk.
I was just like, we still talking about Wonka, like
Yeah.
Timothy?
Willy
Or what?
Wonka?
No, Wonk Radio. That's what
WONC.
they call
Okay.
it.
What
Yeah.
is that? North Central?
That's
Yeah,
North
yeah.
Central. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm a
so I
North
was just
Central
wondering-
alum, so
Yeah, I went there too. Well, I took seminars there. I didn't exactly go to college there, but anyway,
Yeah.
regardless. So he'll still be transmitting, and I think a lot of radio stations still have the tower. I know downtown they're still on top of either the Hancock Building or the quote unquote Sears Tower, whatever we call it now.
yeah.
Is it even the Willis Tower
I'll be
anymore?
in the
It's a
cold-
Sears Tower.
I'll be in the cold dead ground before I recognize the Willis Tower.
I'll tell you, and like I said, I think they just changed the naming rights, or they're about to again. It's like,
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll be in the cold.
Well,
dead
it was
ground.
guaranteed rate field for the Sox, and now it's just rate
Rate.
field because they're like, yeah, we can't guarantee anything good. So we'll give you a rate. I mean,
we'll give them a rate.
we
but
don't know
it
if it's going to be a
won't-
guaranteed
It won't be a
one.
guaranteed rate. Well, that's
a
what is it? A
rate.
mortgage
It's a
company?
road.
Is that what that is?
It's supposed to be, but I don't know.
It's supposed to. Well, anyway, so you're at, but he is like the local affiliate. The station you're on is the local like affiliate for Fox Sports.
Correct. Yes.
Okay, got it. So do you announce high school games or college?
High
or what-
school games. I also run the board for a lot of the high school games, and we also have. I interview a lot of people on the air for just various businesses as well as organizations when it's that time of year when they have Boy Scout popcorn and pumpkins, and it's
Fun.
that time of year for Christmas trees, and then Valentine's Day, and then whatever season, there's a reason. So
But what are they normally
Yeah.
broadcasting during the day? The syndicated stuff then,
mainly
or is there local?
Dan Patrick. We're actually going to be bringing in some new shows. It's going to be really, really up and coming. So the whole format's really changing. So
And
it's
then
awesome.
we talked about the shopping show. Is the radio shopping show still on the air, or is it just like on the internet?
At this time, it's just being at this time it's changing formats. So, and we have a bunch of sponsors that we're talking with. So I mean, it's going to be something that I'm excited to be able to interview more local owners as well.
That's cool.
But you'll
So-
sell their stuff on the air. is
Oh,
what I'm
yeah,
getting at.
yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Cool.
And that's going to be a really fun thing because with a new building and new people, it's always a lot of new clientele. So
Well, I mean, do you do the format like more of a podcast form where they're long form, or is it going to be to fit the radio segmentized radio?
you got to
So-
stay within the lines of the parking space. So it's just stigmatized. It's whatever our vendors are and stuff like that. But I always enjoy tying in what's happening in the area. Whatever if it's
But not you don't get an hour to talk like we do the podcast
no,
format.
not like that. No.
Yeah.
Are we talking like parallel parking space or like?
We're talking
know,
within the
parking
lines.
lot.
It may look ugly, but if it's within the
I know
lines,
it did sound
it's
funny what he said.
okay,
I didn't
so-
want to make fun of it, but I get what you're saying.
No, I get what you.
And so does Joe. They're related.
Yeah.
They can goof around, I guess, with each other on the air. So anyway,
Hello.
so okay, but it is definitely still monitored by the FCC. That hasn't gone away. Then that's
Oh
still-
yes, of course, yes, and everything is always so lovely and taken care of with our
You got an engineer.
yeah, all that good stuff. I really what I enjoy though the most, and I've talked about this, is more of a local flavor show we want to bring to the area.
I thought you were talking about that. Yeah.
Yes, and the local flavor show, what I wanted to do was to show, and as they say, the twin kicks, Aurora, Naperville.
The twin.
But
They are right next to each other.
yeah, and
Then Oswego,
it's
too.
amazing between those two towns. You've got close to 500,000 people.
Isn't
And-
Plainfield too?
Yeah.
Plainfield, Oswego, kind of.
Plainfield's
right next to each
got
And-
50,000. Yeah, but Naperville and Aurora.
'Cause
Aurora's the
yeah.
second biggest city. They got like 200.
One's
some people.
217,000, like one is 190,000.
Yeah.
Naperville's 190,000.
Yeah,
Naperville's
yeah,
190.
I knew
Yeah,
it was big. I didn't know
yeah.
it was getting that big.
And with that, there's always going to be new demand for fun places to go, fun places okay to eat at. If you're a chef, if you're an artist, if you're anything, a local contribution that wants to be recognized.
What about like community activist type things or public official stuff like that? If I have them on,
Oh,
like the
as
mayor.
well, the mayor as well. And we actually, BIG years ago used to do the mayor's minutes, and he would come on and
I
they would
remember
be
that.
able to segment. But then people started calling in and being goofballs,
Oh,
and then we stopped because there were
taking the
too
calls. Huh?
many goofballs. So,
Mayor
Well-
didn't have any more minutes.
Yeah, well, it's going to happen. You're going to have, well, actually, even if you screen them, I guess they could do whatever they want. Right.
right.
I mean, they used to have, they call call screeners, and the producer's job was mainly just to make sure they knew what the caller was going to talk about live, but then they still screw up.
And they, oh yes, of course, yeah, because person would say one thing and they say, I want to know about this, and they would pick up the phone. You're on the air. How come you did this?
Yeah, right.
And how come you did that?
I'm
And
sure the
like,
mayor loved that. He
well,
yelled at.
yeah, well, yeah. So, and then
It is a public forum.
and you
though.
ruin it for everybody, though. We can't keep it going, you know.
So,
what you
but
want.
Can't
you-
just be respectful.
you are focusing on live and local stuff, as I call it, live and local,
Live
not
and
just
local,
the
yeah.
national.
Yeah. And there's plenty of fun stuff to come. I mean, myself, outside of the radio station, outside of radio, I myself am an actor, and I've got my Bachelor of Fine Arts in Theater from North Central College,
Oh, nice.
and I actually am also a comedian and an improviser as well. I
We
work
make a lot of jokes about the theater major,
Oh.
managing Denny's, whatever. I'm sorry.
over the years. Yeah,
sorry.
your student loans will outlive you.
Yeah.
Yes.
And how
Well, that's everybody though. That's not just.
Oh yeah,
theater
it's only
majors.
going to get worse. When I see like you're going to go. I mean, it was 31,000 when I went to school a year. It's 61,000 now for you. Good luck.
Is it really $60,000 a year to go to
For
North
certain-
Central?
No,
Probably. Yeah. North Central, probably.
Yeah, if you want to live on campus fully equipped, yeah, it was like 47, and then they added more. And
Yeah.
then,
When I went to Olivet, it was 44.
yeah,
No kidding.
it's going to keep going up, man. And then
I wonder
the
if people don't pay off their loans.
oh no,
I thought
they
we were in the
don't.
20s still, like 28,000.
Oh,
I guess not.
Get
yeah,
down
that's
from your ivory
2006.
tower,
That's like a
Mario.
state college.
That's like 2006
that's like-
ISU prices. Bro.
That's
Like,
that's
Okay.
like Eastern Illinois
Yeah,
University.
yeah.
I know the when I went to, and we've talked about this in other shows before, the Illinois Center for Broadcasting, which is now more like a 2-year college. It's called Illinois
media school, yeah,
It's like $30,000 now.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
okay, maybe, and that's only 2 years, I guess.
It is, and
Trade school program.
100%. And they say, well, why go to school? Why go to an accredited university? Do a trade school. And then with what you just said, it's like sooner or later, it's the same thing with cable. We got rid of cable because of Netflix,
Yeah, right.
and then they just jack the price up. And
I
so-
mean, to have all of the
Gotta
program,
love it.
all of the streaming channels, you might as well just have Comcast now, because it's still, if you add them all up together, it's like $200 and something.
Oh,
My
yeah.
Comcast bill is $200.
and they used to have what they
I
called the
still have
triple
Comcast.
play. If you have a landline, I doubt you do,
Yeah,
but
we
I
actually
still do.
for our fax, so we still use a fax. for
right,
business, but,
yeah.
Most people don't.
My folks
I
had the
do.
same landline since 1993.
But is it that digital thing now? A lot of them converted it to
Yeah,
where
and
it's
then
just
they got
on the internet.
yeah, and they
like-
got no, it's not. They got rid of it, and then my dad called because he wanted it back, but we got rid of it incidentally because it was just telemarketers
Oh,
and
yeah.
and people from overseas that sold our data that would call us at the,
Oh no!
at the
Yeah.
dinner hour.
And what did he get
Yeah.
instead? The digital version of it, right?
Yeah, then he got that Miracle Jack or whatever you plug
Oh,
into your
that doesn't even work. I tried
Ah.
that thing. It sounded great, but it didn't work that well.
No,
It does not.
It's laggy. That's why it lags.
They were selling that
to
everywhere.
eat you.
Yeah,
that's how.
Right,
yeah,
lots of which about in radio. I mean, that can happen on a live broadcast with the if you're doing a remote broadcast. That
Right.
can
Yeah,
happen a lot
I
too.
I do a lot of remote. So
Yeah.
I
You know
remember
what I'm
one
talking about.
station went to play our music and they played it like 2 times slower. So like it sounded like
we're
Oh,
still
that's
in
because
the, we're still in the opening solo.
they were like, oh, sorry, we screwed that one up.
Yeah,
a
they
little
didn't have
bit."
the settings right on the track. It's just a file that they obviously screwed that up pretty bad.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
It was
But
kinda the
I
good
mean,
version
it
of
was
Joe's
a college
real
station,
slow.
so you weren't like it's not like you're expecting like
Slow
super
jam.
immaculate.
Yeah,
They're all
with Joe
learning,
Brunker.
you know.
Yes,
like, you know?
yes.
Slow jam. Well, anyway, but we bounce. We like to do that on the show. We bounce around a little bit. But so in now that it's $60,000 to go to college, obviously you did. Let's talk a little bit about where you started out. Did you have an internship in a theater group or radio?
Originally, I was always, the truth be told, the class clown growing up, and I have ADHD. So I was
Doesn't
always
everybody?
What?
I know.
I never heard of that.
I was always the kid cracking jokes. That's the whole point. Is that everyone's like, "Well, you have it too?" But
well, I don't think it was anything anybody really talked about. At least
No.
I'm 50, so I don't think we talked about it.
At one point, you were just the class clown or the loud kid.
It was
And, like,
stigmatized
You
back
got
then.
slapped around a little bit, and that was it.
and that was it. And then I was always the one because I loved and most kids when they're younger, they don't want to read aloud in class.
Yeah.
I used to love reading aloud in class.
Let
And
me guess, you'd make the words sound weird.
I make them sound weird, and I elongate, and I do a Shakespearean bravado, and I'd be like 9-10 years old, and like, big dog, little dog.
With everybody like, what is wrong with him? Probably.
But people would eat it up. They'd laugh. They'd say, Brett is so funny.
Yeah.
And
I remember one time I talked to a banana in 4th grade, and people just thought it was hilarious because I was talking to Uranus. And I was like, hello, is this Uranus? And everybody just died. Like, you'd say stupid things and people eat it up.
And the whole class would just break down laughing. And then it would be so hard to get the teacher to get back to the lesson plan because you were cracking everybody up.
But wait, how is that ADHD related? That's just you cracking a joke, I guess.
No, it's also like a release. They call it like stimming.
Yeah,
Like
it's stimming.
Yeah.
So like when a lot of class clowns become a class clown, that's kind of their stim. It's not just random noises or movements. It's also like trying to interact with the crowd around you.
Yeah.
My 6th grade teacher used to, because I had smart aleck comments under my breath.
Oh yeah,
I love doing that.
Yeah.
I still do that now.
Yeah.
But I'm an adult, so they're not going to slap me
Evidently,
around. But my parents' theory is, well, you've always had some kind of attention deficit or ADHD, which is hyperactivity.
Some neurodivergent degree. Yeah,
I guess. But I mean, look at the business room. We got to be kind of crazy, I think, to do this.
I think so. And you got to be a people person. And the funny part is that like what do they call that? I'm an introverted extrovert.
Okay.
Where I like people, but I got to get my fill. And then I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go be alone.
Go to bed.
I'm going to go sit in my house and watch movies for 10 hours.
So you start out as the extrovert.
Yeah.
But so did you know, like when did you know you wanted to get into theater and like radio?
I knew I wanted to get into theater because I always loved big man comedy. Growing up, I was the biggest Chris Farley fan.
Oh, I was going to say that. I mean, like large people,
like big man comedy. Dennehy, Farley, Candy.
What's your thought of James?
Now I know there's a common denominator with
Curly, Three Stooges.
Yes, of course. But all these big guys had
Laurel and Hardy. Well,
Hardy. All of these great guys had that was their outlet pretty much.
W.C. Fields
until he did that one thing with the Coke bottle.
Yeah. We don't need to talk about that.
But yeah, he was.
Is that even true? I know
it's
we
a
get off the subject,
speculation,
but okay.
that's what. Yeah. But I digress.
Anyway,
So I always enjoyed though putting on a show for people and making them laugh. I did my first stand-up set when I was a freshman in high school in the school talent show, and I got runner up. But you know who won?
No, I don't. Well, you're laughing talking about it.
The school color guard won the talent show.
Oh, okay.
Wow, that's a shocker.
And I was just like, there's like 20 people. The color guard.
I forget what the color guard guys did.
They waved the flag and they did the coordinated dance.
Oh, they never talked.
They never talked or
just
did
waved
anything.
the flag.
I was just like, you guys have worked on this for a team.
They were part of like the band or the pom guys or whatever they call it, the male version of the cheerleaders, right?
And they won that. I was like, how? But you guys perform at the football games. Like I came out here of my own volition. Like
he was like a silent.
And I was runner up.
Silent but deadly, right?
It's a nuisance when that happened.
Yeah, I know. I didn't think it was
color guard guy won it.
Literally the school color guard.
School color guard, yeah.
What year would that have been?
That was 04.
No, I mean in school.
Freshman year.
Oh, freshman.
And I at the time Michael Jackson was on trial, and that was 04. And like I did a whole set of Michael Jackson.
I mean, everybody does Michael Jackson jokes. At least they used to. There's still jokes about him, and he's dead. But interesting.
But, and at the time,
brilliant musician.
Brilliant musician.
Oh, well,
but
duh. What do you have? Like 100 hits?
One of the best performers.
Who has the most hits of all time? Would it be like the Beatles, Dylan?
Could be Elvis too.
And the weird part is they both owned each other. Well,
Holly.
Michael owned all the Beatles
Yeah.
song catalogs,
Yeah,
the
for a
rights
while.
to
Well, I
it,
think he
and then
sold them back.
he sold them back.
Yeah. So
And then-
okay,
yeah.
so he was everything. He was the Beatles, and he was
I
Michael
know
Jackson.
that was the
That's
craziest
crazy.
part. Yeah,
But anyway, so you're in school when this is going on,
And-
and
and
it made
I-
for good comedy, I guess.
and it made for good comedy. And I realized I wanted to write more stuff. And as I get older, I said, well, I kind of want to go to school for this. And so I decided I want to be a theater major in college. And my
Not
friend
in high school, though? You didn't do it in high school?
in high school, I was a meathead. I played football and I wrestled.
Oh, okay.
And I figured if I
Meathead.
wanted to do it, I wanted to do it. So, I got into originally I played football downstate at Monmouth College.
Oh,
My first 2 years.
My sister went there.
Yes, we
supposed to be a good. I've never been by
and,
it, but
and I played I played nose tackle there for 2 years in football, and great program down there.
Scholarship.
And walk on down there. Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah, and
Okay.
that was and we won our conference title my freshman year. We had a magical 11-1 season.
Oh,
that
That's
was-
a good
really,
season.
That was and I,
excuse me, really, really good.
and I was a freshman MVP, and that was really cool because I just came out of nowhere.
That's pretty
So
wicked.
not theater, but you were doing the theater
Yeah,
stuff too.
and
then?
I was doing, and I also, the crazy part was at one point I was doing 18-hour days because I would have practice, and then as soon as the football season ended, and if you were a theater major, you had to audition,
Yeah.
you'd have rehearsal from 7 to 10 p.m. in the evening.
Straight up.
Crap.
And then you got to go home, and you're up till 12:30 hammering on a paper.
So when did you sleep? You didn't.
You didn't. You got up, and you would have a midnight to 6, and then you go at it again.
A lot of
Jesus.
coffee.
A lot of coffee.
I guess.
Yeah.
Or whatever caffeine.
That's right, whatever caffeine. And then I
put it in my
realized that I
veins.
wanted moreover to do more stand-up.
Yeah.
Because I like theater, but I also just loved telling jokes and doing impressions. And my favorite thing to do was to always just
Wait, when you were on the field, were you calling out fake plays for the other team? Like, hey, 21-32.
32
Throw 'em
skidoo,
off.
Susquehanna shuffle. Yeah.
I just threw it. I thought it'd be funny.
No,
Yes,
but
I did all the time because it would throw them on.
it would throw them off, but I would always, whenever I'm on the line, I always wiggle my fingers.
Oh, well, that throws them
and
off
they,
too.
in the center, just for a second, you just
You'd be
wiggle their
like looking
fingers.
like, what in
And a
hell?
quarter of a second off their reaction time, it works.
There's your fun part right there. Just
But-
throw them off.
Oh yeah, and I got employed later on midway through college at the Comedy Shrine, the comedy club
in
in
Aurora.
Aurora.
We
I
did
went-
a show there.
We did
Both
it.
of us.
That
Yeah.
place is awesome. Is it going to open again?
No.
it is not. But I worked there
kidding.
for 6 years, and
What
I
happened to the owners? They just moved on to some other project? Because I thought they were looking to, like, they had it in the mall.
yeah, they had it in the mall. Unfortunately, during the time of COVID, there was no one was going to shows.
No one.
Oh.
And you have to pay rent.
Yeah, you're still paying
at the
your rent,
mall,
sure,
yeah,
sure.
so
And it's
unfortunately-
steep rent too.
And unfortunately, it did go under.
Yeah,
But-
they had a very large facility.
They-
too,
yeah,
so
you know-
it costed more.
You know what I liked about them is the collection of all the memorabilia. They
All
had
the
some
memorabilia
really
was
awesome
great.
stuff.
I was the curator of that museum.
Where
I
did it
took
go?
care of.
Where is it?
It was sold.
It's stuck in there.
No,
Like,
he just
no.
said it's sold.
All the memorabilia pieces, unfortunately, they had to be part of it.
oh, he had to get rid of them.
Unfortunately,
Oh,
yeah.
I
oh
wish it was
my
in there.
goodness.
Uh,
I would go
Unfortunately,
on for
yes.
buy
I
a
didn't
lot
know
of
it was all of it.
But it
So
was,
they sold our mics too. That's what you're saying.
if you want to open that jar, we can. But I don't know.
Well, I don't know if we need to go on to all that, but
But I will say, we're working there, and this is my current project that I'm working on. I came up with a screenplay idea because everyone thinks working at a comedy club is going to be fun, and it's
I mean,
and
a lot of work.
it's fun for the guests.
Well,
But
yeah, of course,
when you work there, everyone's tense. There's always gossip.
Drama.
Okay, who's coming? What is it? We have a local, regional, or national headliner.
Yeah.
Okay, who's going to be in the green room tonight?
Oh, you're all fighting over attention. Who's going to get on stage?
Who's
I
going to
would
get on
imagine.
stage? Who's going to have
Who's gonna MC?
who's
right.
going to MC? And
Makes
also, and whenever you had management meetings, who got a say? Or in the artistic vision of things. So, when
Well,
you
in
have
radio, it's usually the executive producer and the host, and maybe the general manager. That's about it.
Exactly.
Everybody else just shuts up. I know how that goes
exactly,
in
and
radio.
it's A B, see your way out.
Yeah.
So,
for most people.
For most people, yes. But that gave me an education, though, of how the structure and administration of things like that are done.
Why is a comedy club the same way? The manager, maybe the MC guy, and that's about it. Everybody else just kind of listens and
Well,
goes with
the
flow.
biggest, the money talks, and when we follow the money, and then, but also it's also who genuinely wants to come in and enjoy seeing your art.
You do get paid to work there. right?
Yes.
Because I've heard like stories. A lot of that stuff is volunteer.
Well, if you actually have skills, like I was a box office manager and I had a Bachelor of Fine Arts in theater and I went to school for it and I knew how to
they figured,
balance spreadsheets
Yeah.
and incoming, outgoing
you,
transactions.
you know the business side of things.
You know the
not just
business,
fun.
right?
Exactly.
Right.
Fun stuff.
And people don't stop to think about how long-winded that can be.
Mhm.
And it's not like turning on the kitchen light, no. When you keep adding on more of a maximum capacity to your venue, you got to fill seats. So originally the first place was 140 people.
I liked that venue.
Yes,
Oh,
and then-
smaller, more intimate.
But when we
whoa,
went to 275, it just
whoa,
got
it's more double.
It was
Yeah.
a massive.
It was
like the place was
massive.
huge.
I only went by it. I never went in.
Yeah,
When it
yeah.
moved over.
And-
So okay, so you were doing that, but that's all gone.
That's all gone, and I'm actually writing now a treatment about struggling comic work. It's actually very much similar to my life, working at a comedy club and trying to get breaks. And I mean, it's like Cheers, but a comedy club.
Oh,
and
okay.
that's the treatment that I'm
So
writing right now.
everybody's hanging out instead at the bar. Everybody knows your name at the comedy club.
Right, right.
So you're doing full time. You do some radio stuff. What else? What else you doing for? Like, full-time
I most recently I wrapped up a play with Grove Players in Downers Grove.
Oh, I know them. Yeah.
And that was the greatest every Christmas story ever told.
We played the same role.
And yes, we did.
Oh.
The funny part was though, my play was you had the whole version of A Christmas Carol.
Yep, yours
My
was
play
skits.
took every Christmas movie you could think of.
Oh,
And
and from all the
It was A Christmas Story, It's a Wonderful Life, The Grinch, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Frosty, and like 2 or 3 other ones.
obviously a comedic.
And they were all
angle.
mini vignettes for each one. So.
Okay.
And but it was only 3 people to do it.
How long did it go?
We had 6 performances, 72. It was a 72-page play.
Oh,
3 people, 72 pages. That's a lot, bro.
That's a lot.
Wow,
people.
dude.
I mean,
That's
a lot of
of
stuff
We
dialogue.
did it all. Yeah, we did it all. And I did it without
Did you
my script.
Did you change sets or
Sounds
anything?
like
or-
hell.
Yeah, we had runners in the background, and we had a few interchangeable runners. It
Okay.
was pretty basic because it was so involved.
Yeah, you
And we
guys
had a prop
changed it.
trunk with various props. So we kept it like Who's
Prop
Line,
trunk.
and we kept taking stuff out, wigs, all that.
But
and-
you played the same character at least in
Mo-
Christmas Carol.
Yeah,
as
Fred.
Joe
yes,
played in his
Fred, yeah,
version.
Scrooge's brother, yes.
Joe was the whole thing though.
Yeah, Joe was actually very great with that. He could play 11 roles at once, and also Tiny Tim, I believe.
Yes, I God bless us, everyone.
Exactly.
You were Tiny Tim as
See,
well.
I played him right off.
That was easy. I think he does only have a couple lines. You're right.
No, Fred has about 4 scenes. Yeah.
So-
but
so
they're pretty large scenes.
So Brett's version is like how long of the actual play though? How long? That's
It's
got to
a-
be like
uh,
2
It's
hours.
vignettes.
It's
like, so
vignettes,
scenes.
so things are compressed. Like, for example, like we did Frosty. And Frosty the Snowman was an interaction of a person coming out in a snowman suit, and then when he melted, it morphed into another scene, and then
Well,
it
how
was
long is each one? Though, is what I'm
each-
getting at? Like
I'll-
15, 20 minutes each one?
Not-
Kinda like
no,
a
no.
radio segment.
I wouldn't even go that far. I would say 7 or 8 minutes per one,
Wow.
and then it was just rapid fire.
So this is like rapid fire, like an improv show almost.
Like an
in a way.
improv show, and there was crowd and audience interactions. Come on down.
Really?
So did you ever have skip scenes? Like everybody was in all of the scenes, or was it just like
Well, with a
sometimes 2 people
With a
sometimes-
3-person cast.
Yeah, I was wondering if it was sometimes
probably
2
one at a
people.
time, maybe.
Sometimes, everybody had I had 6 solo monologues.
Oh, geez.
I had
Okay.
6 solo monologues, so I had to become a file cabinet. We started September 9th rehearsing, and then we opened Thanksgiving weekend,
And you just finished.
and we just finished at the end of December.
Wow.
So it
Month
was
ago, huh? Okay.
so it was just insane seeing all of these great people come in, and also challenging myself as an actor to memorize this much dialogue.
Yeah, that's a lot.
A
I'm used
lot
to
of
just reading
dialogue.
it.
Dialogue's rough, man.
Dialogue is very
It's
rough.
tiring, especially without another person with
The
you
most
right there.
exhausting part is if there is someone with you, there's always something they can use to help you. Okay, we're at this part. context clues. The
Yeah,
show
I
had
say,
no
maybe look at
context
something.
clues.
And
There was
not with a soliloquy, no.
no, and
Especially with vignettes.
and everything's compressed. Yeah.
Did they have any cue cards? Do they do cue cards and plays anymore? I mean, they used to.
Truth be told, I did have cue cards in the rear pocket of my pants in case I went into a cul-de-sac and I didn't know where to go.
Yeah. That's
Sometimes I write words on my hand, and I'm like, oh.
I have to have it in front of me. Maybe
That's
because
fine.
radio, you're used to reading the ad copy for whatever, or the rundown. You have it in front of you. Trying to memorize it, that's another story.
I
for
used
me,
to
at least.
love
I can't really
listening
do
when
it
I
that
was in
well.
middle school. Back in during the LimeWire days. I downloaded Robin Williams' A Night at the Metropolitan Opera House.
Oh, geez,
And
that's a big one.
It's 57 minutes long of him on stage,
Just going nuts. Oh, yeah.
non-stop, and
Yeah.
it is
Love it.
one of my favorite because I used to my dad would call me pinball as a kid because I'd bounce off the walls, I wouldn't stop,
You're all over the place.
and I would
What, like a conversation.
yeah,
or
with a
just in general,
conversation and
moving around?
always wanted to be a showman,
You're the pinball wizard.
the pinball wizard. That's right.
John and
and
Tommy.
yeah, and that stayed with me, and it's just amazing how you're always constantly moving, thinking of the next train of thought. So
Like right now on the show, we're like all over the place here today. We're
I
getting it all
love
in.
a
it.
fun time.
I'm
No,
enjoying
we-
it very
yeah,
much.
I'd like it to be more. I mean, sure, we have I know a few questions I'm going to ask, but for the most part, I like it to kind of just go where
Free
it's going to
flow.
go. Yeah, I mean,
I think freestyle is the best kind of conversation.
we got to get it in. I want to ask the basics, and people got to know certain things, maybe. But for the most part, yeah, if we go off on a tangent talking about, pinball wizard, that's
Right,
fine with
right.
me,
Well, I always enjoyed watching growing up Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, Black Sheep, Tommy Boy, those fun 90s SNL Brad Pack movies.
There was some improv in those movies.
And
A lot of it was scripted,
and a lot of
obviously.
it was a hobnob of both, but
Mhm.
I enjoyed it so much because that was just the style of comedy that I enjoyed. And over the years, that frat type of comedy, that Sandler, Farley, bad boy type of comedy, and with the introduction of new PC elements during the Obama years, things changed, and got to be to a point where almost felt like, what is funny to you? If
I mean, like
everything's not-
wokeness stuff? Like
yeah,
that?
to an extent.
Bill
It's gotten
Maher-
pretty weak.
Bill Maher talks about it a
To
lot.
an extent, it's almost like, okay, well, what's funny?
Watch
to
The
you?
Family Guy.
Family
That's
Guy's
a
very.
perfect example, because when I look at Family Guy when I was in like 11th grade and
Yeah, but
now,
that's not woke. That's as
That-
unwoke as you can
that's-
get, quote unquote, wokeness. It's
South Park,
anti-wokeness.
too.
yeah.
But you're right. I guess it did kind of in the last 20 years kind of be more of a thing, because I mean, you used to have Richard Pryor, you had Lenny Bruce from the beginning. He actually went to jail over his
George
comedy.
Carlin.
Yeah.
George Carlin.
Dice.
Yeah.
Could if they show Blazing Saddles in a theater today?
Yeah, Mel Gibson. I mean, Mel Brooks
Mel-
Gibson. What am I saying? Well, he's funny too.
Well, he's
but
funny
Mel
too,
Brooks,
but
of
for
course.
different reasons.
He's funny when he gets pulled over
Yeah,
and yells at
yeah.
cops.
There you go. But anyway,
He's a good director, though. Just watch this movie.
Yeah, he is a great director, I think. Boy, did he go off. Now here we are, another tangent. He
Yeah.
went nuts on the TV the other day when he thought, well, he heard his
Wait,
home
the
burned
fire
down.
theory?
Yeah.
Oh, with
Oh.
Joe Rogan.
Oh my!
Yeah.
No. This was at an interview. I think it was on CNN or something. He just went
Which
crazy.
one did he sound more incompetent in?
And I guess he's directing. Are they doing Lethal Weapon 5? I guess they are.
I don't know. I'm too over this stuff. But
Anyway,
yeah.
So back to the story. So do you utilize a lot of the improv or the ADHD stuff, you think, on the radio?
Because it makes me quick. I can. One thing is that you tell me, Brett, make something out of absolutely nothing.
You'll do it.
I am your man.
Improv is great.
Improv is great
You
for
gotta
that.
have
too.
improv.
And it's
skills.
also great for me in
you have
sales
to.
too. Yeah.
Life is
yeah.
improv.
Life really is. And making something out of nothing, but also trying to find a way to relate to somebody and keep spirits up, contribute to something and create something. I think that's what people want. But if your story's going nowhere and there's no retribution and no one's getting anything out of it, and it's just idiocy, then you're not going to strike gold.
I guess it depends upon whose opinion you're listening to
right.
on that.
Right.
But I like what Joe said about that. It seems like everything can be kind of improvisational in life. You never
Think about
know
it.
which way you're going.
It's how you react to it.
We
you
have
know?
a plan, but yeah.
I was at the store the other
day.
day. I usually buy Pert. I bought Suave. I mean, I swerved. Okay. And that's,
Okay. Where are you playing at? Try the Veal, right?
Right.
You know where that
I got
came from?
Tresemme.
You know,
You got Tresemme? Oh,
That's supposed
Ooh
to
la
be good
la.
stuff. My mom's in the hair. She was a hairstylist. She said it's not good. I always thought it's more expensive. But anyway, I digress.
Yeah.
The whole doing the
Try the
improv
veal. Isn't that
and that saying.
Henny Youngman? Take my wife, please.
Well, it was Henny Youngman
Yeah.
did Take My Wife, but Try the Veal. Well, it might have been Henny Youngman too, but I know I like Danny Bonaducci used to use it constantly on his radio show.
It's also in Shrek.
Yes, it is.
Is
yes.
it in Shrek?
It is
I
in
don't
Shrek.
remember.
Try the veal.
I'll be here till Thursday. Try the veal.
Now I gotta watch Shrek again. I haven't seen it in so long. I forgot that line. Which one? Shrek 1, 2, 3, 4?
One.
The cartoon series. I mean, they made a whole.
It's when he's
thing.
meeting Farquaad.
Okay.
Okay.
I want to see the adult tapes from the cutting room floor of Chris Farley's Shrek.
Oh, that would have been.
I wanna
awesome.
see
I
those.
really
Same.
think he would have
Yeah.
been better than Mike Myers.
I want
in
to
my
see those,
opinion,
and they said
but-
that he went blue, and they have a ton of on the cutting room floor. They have a
Really?
ton of funny stuff they couldn't use.
Quite
Oh, of course
honestly,
not.
I
Yeah.
think
He
Michael
died.
Myers.
And the same thing happened with also Robin Williams, Mrs. Doubtfire. There's plenty of improv stuff of
Well,
him.
he didn't die though. They just didn't want to use it, I guess.
They didn't want to use any of the MA stuff. They wanted to keep it PG-13.
Yeah,
So,
some of it
maybe,
was
yeah.
vulgar.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, I know he can get that way, or he did get that way.
He
I should
did
say.
get that way.
Great
Yeah.
comedian in that way.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I know Mork and Mindy. Most of that stuff was improv.
Oh yeah, and
You had Jonathan Winters, a famous comedian, legendary comedian, on there later episodes. Obviously, you had Robin Williams, but even the guy at the music store, the father-in-law, he was kind of funny too.
yeah,
Can't think of his name.
everything was spontaneous back then.
They had a script, but
they had a script, but they also would wing it
I don't
too,
think they
and people
followed
would
it.
enjoy going, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening! What are the odds?"
So, what are your some more of like what? And I think I get it. The heavy set guys, the funny guys. with
Besides the
crazy
big man
off the
comedy,
wall. Yeah, big man comedy.
Big man comedy, Dennehy, Candy, Belushi, Farley, all those guys.
When you say Dennehy, I don't think of him as a comedian, but okay. He
Big
was in
man,
Tommy
big man,
Boy.
using your if you're a big guy, like I'm 6'2", 275.
Yeah.
I
He's a pretty big guy.
yeah. If you're a big dude, and they'd always say, "Brett, you're barrel chested. Use it. Use the volume."
Did he do comedy act? I mean, he was in Tommy Boy, but,
But
he
he
was more serious
did a
character.
lot of dramas too. But
Yeah.
learn how to use your I don't want to say thickness, but being a big guy, use it. Yeah,
Your overweightness.
yeah. You use it to be imposing or intimidating.
Or wait, we don't want to say overweight. We want to say plump or whatever. Pleasantly plump. or
Husky.
whatever.
horizontally challenged.
There you go. We're going vertical. Oh, Lord.
Speaking of Candy, do you know how much he was paid in Home Alone?
It was like $800.
400.
Oh, yeah, I
No
knew it was
kidding.
400 bucks.
I
That's
knew
not
it was
even-
under a grand.
It was
I
a
That's
knew
not
favor
even
to the
union
director.
Scale, though.
Yeah, and every single line of his improv, the entire scene.
I forgot that he was even in Home Alone.
Gus-
But
He's the
one-
Kenosha Kid.
Gus
I was gonna say, he's
Polka
the
polka.
band, yeah,
Gus,
yeah.
Gus Polinski.
She's sitting
that's
next to
right.
him. Doesn't he give the mom a ride or something? I forget.
Yeah, and the band moving truck. It's like a budget moving truck. Or
Yeah,
something.
that's what it
Tries
was.
to get her to play the clarinet. And
Yeah.
she really reacted to that.
Yeah.
Like she was like, I do not
No,
want to play
I
that.
I'm
do not
sure.
wanna play
Well,
that.
you know where those guys all came from. You probably know this.
SCTV.
Yeah.
Yep.
SCTV. What I always wondered is how did they split off? Because SNL had a lot of the SCTV, which is Second City, by the way, out of Chicago and Toronto.
Yes.
Yeah.
But how did that work? Where they ended up with two series? I always thought that was kind of crazy.
They one was essentially American and one was essentially
I think
Canadian.
that's what it
and
was.
that's really what it was.
Yeah.
And they were both great.
And they were both great, but
I think I like SCTV more.
they
but
also
whatever.
went
I like
after their
Mad
own
TV
pop
better.
culture, the Canadian pop culture, and they would rip on Canadian football and hockey players with no teeth and stuff like that.
But I mean, both shows stemmed from the cast members of Second City out of Chicago
yes,
and then
yes,
Toronto.
and they
Canada.
both double dipped into both venues. So
Well, they
knew
also
same
had the
people.
Groundlings. They had people from all around. So it wasn't just Second City with Saturday Night. Sometimes they would.
It was
scope-
with SCTV though.
Yes. SCTV was straight up Second City, but some of the people they would snipe from the Groundlings, and then there was another group, IO.
Oh
in
yeah,
Chicago.
Improv Olympics.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so,
and then
like,
the
they would get
Olympics
a lot of people-
sued them.
Chris Farley got
They
it.
did?
Yeah.
And they had to be good IO. They had to drop Olympic because literally the Olympics sued
Like
them.
the U.S.
Yeah.
Olympic
Yes,
Committee
they
sued
sued them.
Improv
Yes,
Olympics.
they
I've
did.
never heard that.
It was worse than when the
did a show
World
like that. Never
Wildlife
knew that.
Fund sued WWF. It was the same thing. Like
Wow. Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
Remember WWF that changed to
Yeah,
WWE. So all right. So what's coming? What's
What-
going on? You're gonna be on the radio, obviously.
yes, but with Radio Shopping Show, but also there's going to be yeah, like I said, the treatment that I have coming out, I want to get it made into either a local show or possibly get it into a screenplay. And that was it's called Bumped. And
Oh, you got a name for it?
Yeah,
Has it been
Bumped.
okay, it's been trademarked. It was on a podcast. Now.
Yeah. So, and that's,
Joe had a post about
Mechanical copyright.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which I've talked to attorneys in the past about. It's just what it would do is just prove that the idea existed. I don't know how well it's going to hold up when somebody sues you or you try to sue somebody else.
Right.
Well,
At
if you have
least
if you have the lyrics, then they
At
can't
least you have
use your lyrics unless you mechanically approve to that.
I mean, I
They-
can't
they're
just be like, well,
they can't use your melodies, they can't use your.
I
lyrics.
came up.
But when you mail it to yourself, is what I'm saying. That's kind of a like they call it the poor man's trademark.
It
yeah,
works. It works well.
I'm actually the original writer of Row, Row, Row Your Boat.
Because you sent yourself a letter.
Yeah, and that yeah.
Just not at the right date, though.
See, in other words, he can sue the guy now because hey, I came up with that. Even though I
Well,
wasn't
it's
born
gotta
when
be
that song
dated
was
correct.
Turn of the
Correctly.
century golden age song.
So
Yeah, I don't think you'd win that one.
Brett, what? Say your full name again, Brett.
Brett DeJoseph.
What do you use on the air? Brett DeJoseph?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
But Brett D is a lot, mainly Brett D.
I would think Brett D. Yeah, I mean I'm Mario Bell because my last name is 8 miles long, so I just call it Mario J. Bell.
What's your full last name?
I usually don't say it on the air.
Oh, you don't?
Yeah,
Okay.
Santa Ana.
Alexander Graham Bell. Are you
Yeah,
related to?
I wish I was related.
Yeah,
That'd
okay.
be great.
Yeah.
But actually, the name is from my mom's side of the family.
Okay,
I'm just
okay.
using her side.
But
anyway,
I've always wanted though to use my voice though to show what it's been like growing up around here, really in the Midwest, and let people know that there's more related to Chicagoland than just Lou Malnati's and Portillo's.
yeah. Oh, everybody hears that.
But
Scott was the hot dog, deep dish.
and we're known for
Lou Malnati's, like you
our
said.
food, but I love my underdogs. I love my underdog teams. Okay, my sister tells me, "Why don't you cheer for a winning team?" It's just not that simple.
How far
We're
are you
from
along
Chicago.
with this? Just the treatment? Then you haven't shopped around. You're not producing anything yet.
I haven't shopped around yet, really, but I have people I'm collaborating with as well. That also on my writing team, and we
Liam?
have. Yeah, Liam is also part of my
Nice.
writing team, and then we have.
What about the radio station staff people? Anybody helping you out of the radio station?
I'm a one-man band at
Okay.
this time. Yeah.
Very
So,
good.
and then in the spring, I'm going to be auditioning for a treatment with Village Theater Guild, a couple local theater houses in the area.
Nice.
And
When you say a treat, like they're proposing a play title?
no, they've
or
already
just
got their plays. I was going to be throwing my hat in the ring to see if I was going to be working the spring.
Oh, I got it.
So,
Okay, got it.
That's going to be.
Well, you mentioned treatment. That's like a
Mhm.
specific type of
Right.
thing, like a
I-
proposal, basically.
Yeah, I would love to actually have my idea get picked up by an actual comedy club, and they could
Oh.
play the show and show people, and that
That's
would be
he's
kind
got,
of
you got a lot of good
a
angles.
play
here.
about a play at this, and people are like, "Wow, is it really like this?" And yes, it is.
I mean, I had an idea of doing like a reality show style thing where you follow us around doing this specifically.
Yeah,
That's one idea I had. And then we would include like all of the offshoots would be Joe doing something, our guest, Brett doing something and showing you at the radio station and at the play. But that's a lot of work.
this is real life.
I wrote
That's a
a
lot of
pilot
work. Yeah.
for a show called Knockers. It's about
Boobs?
door to door knockers.
No,
a door-to-door
boobs.
salesman.
Door to door salesman. So like the misadventures of door to door salesman. Because I actually like quit door to door salesman.
I
did
love
it too.
Crazy
I did it
happened.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did it for many years. It's very good money if you can hack
Oh,
it
it
but
was
it's
fun.
cold, too,
It
in
was
the
fun,
winter.
but
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's rough. Like,
Yeah.
and the reason why I quit is because some dude tried to lick my face and licked into my ear, and it was.
How did
it-
you
broke
get
the
that
touch
close to
barrier?
him?
I called the cops on him. Yeah,
It's like
I-
assault.
Oh
I'm just
yeah,
talking to
yeah.
you
I
about-
pushed him down.
Just goofing around
he
with
was
your
like-
cousin, were you?
He was like a 70-year-old guy, and like he's all like, and while we're talking, have you ever done this before? And I'm like, dude, you're kind of creeping me out. I'm getting your info. We're setting up an appointment for windows.
Well, I was gonna
okay?
say, what are you
Like,
selling him?
yeah.
Windows,
So, like-
siding, doors.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
So-
Restraining orders.
Yeah, literally. That's
I
what I,
think he
did.
just liked you. He just wanted to meet you. But anyway,
Oh, he liked me a little too much. He tasted my earwax. Okay.
That's creepy.
And you I'm assuming that you just gave him a suplex.
Oh, I threw him, but he was 70, so I didn't want to
Yeah, you
kill
didn't
him.
want to kill him, right?
You know?
Blew on
Throw him
that.
away from me.
I
So-
literally I threw him across the room, but yeah, I made
exhaled
sure he
and
didn't.
flew into.
He's a fascinating. Your cousin is a fascinating guy. You know that. Got a lot going on.
He really is.
This guy.
Yeah, we have some great stories.
We need more than an hour apparently.
Oh yeah,
So
definitely.
they're gonna find you on WBIG. Where do you go to the website?
WBIG1280.com. Whenever we were doing radio shopping shows strictly on weekends, we're going to be bringing it back on the weekends initially, but then when we get the wheels rolling, we're going to hopefully be having it be a daily thing.
And you're going to be talking.
Yeah, and there's going to be more opportunities as well for local flavor as well.
Nice.
So I think that because South Naperville is interesting. It's theoretically Wheatland. It's
like Wheatland Township.
Yeah.
Yep.
That area is different. Okay, we're not like North Naperville with them hoity-toity buildings. Okay, we're South Naperville. My house was built in 1975. Okay, it's respectable 2,200 square feet.
I like it. I like the fire
People
pit.
that aren't from Chicago are like, what are you talking about? But Naperville's huge. It's like its own big city.
Naperville's huge, and
Huge.
everybody automatically assumes
Huge.
so huge.
It
is so.
And you got to go to his comedy.
So huge.
Well, anyway, it was fun having you and Joe talk about his stuff like always, and Libby, of course. Thanks, Libby, being here with us like always. And you know
is
what?
That an American Girl doll?
No comment.
No.
It's Libby. It's a Libby American doll.
I never tell where I'm from. Or who
Okay.
I am.
Understood.
We can talk more off the air. Anyway, thanks for joining us, everybody.
Thank you.
Obviously, we're on now we're on Facebook Live, YouTube, and then all the podcasting sites. And we'll talk to you next time here on Bell and Company. On Intellectual.